Hello everyone and welcome. Today I am thrilled to be speaking with Andy Andrews, the co-founder of CrossFit Salon. Andy is such a refreshing and he has a no-nonsense approach to fitness and well-being. So Andy, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
How are
having me.
you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you.
So let's get moving.
Yeah.
But first let's get to know you.
All right.
Take us through your fitness journey. How long have you been doing fitness?
All right. So, growing up, I played a lot of sport, right? But the sport I really took up was golf. Played it professionally for many years. So, through my childhood, I was always involved in some sort of strength and conditioning, right? You'd always have to train for something. But it really wasn't something I enjoyed doing. I just did it because I had to do it, right? I did it because coaches told me to do it. But over time, when I turned professional, or slightly, I guess when I went to college, it became an important part because sometimes the gap between you and the player that's better than you is a fitness thing, right? Even in golf, although a lot of people don't think so, because the distance you hit the ball and all of that stuff matters. And so I was always smaller, right? So I'm like 5'6", 5'7" at most, and I'm like 75 kilos at most. And so I didn't have like the attributes, right? So I had to build these other attributes. And so that's really when it kind of clicked in my head, and I started taking on training, and I started to enjoy the process of actually getting stronger, because there was like a feedback loop. I would do my training and I'd hit it longer, I'd get better, I'd create advantages for myself in my sport. So that's really where it kicked off. And then when I found CrossFit somewhere down the line, and I really enjoyed the competitive aspect of CrossFit, because I grew up competitive, and so the competitive aspect of CrossFit drew me in. And I ended up joining CrossFit gyms in Dubai, which is where I lived. And that's kind of where it started. That's kind of where the whole coaching thing started. There was a gym over there that asked me if I wanted to help, not coach some classes, but assist them. I wasn't a coach. I was a professional golfer, and I was just spending all my time at the gym when I wasn't playing golf. And so they said, hey, do you want to help us with X, Y, and Z? And so I just started helping out. And then, I would say that's where, and then I started like enjoying the competition aspect of CrossFit and actually competing in, these mini competitions around Dubai. And so I would say that was like the journey to kind of fitness. Yeah.
Okay. And Andy, in your article regarding the dangers of sedentary lifestyle, you mentioned that long periods of sitting can cause the same type of long-term damage as smoking. I mean, that's crazy. Can you elaborate on how inactivity contributes to chronic diseases like heart diseases or even cancer?
Yeah. And so a lot of these things are things that I would obviously pick off of other people, right? Notably, a guy named Peter Attia, he wrote a book called Outlive. And he talks about the 4 horsemen of disease, right? It's neurodegenerative disease, which is like brain-related stuff. And then there's cardiovascular, heart disease type of stuff. And then diabetes and cancer. Majority of people on the planet are going to die from one of these 4 things, right? And people will pinpoint smoking and say this is bad for you, which it is, but there are a lot of people that have lived to like 100 years old and they've smoked a pack every day, right?
Agreed.
And so there are those instances, but what we haven't seen in, let's say, human history is a lifestyle that's as sedentary as it is right now, right? And what you're also seeing is a correlation between sedentary lifestyle and these 4 horsemen capturing more people, right? And so whether it's correlation or what it is, we know that, for example, you sit down all day, you become less insulin resistant, right? You become more insulin resistant, and so your body processes sugar and energy not as efficiently. You're sitting down all day, there's very little blood flow, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting all day, if you're sitting down all day, you're going to burn less calories. And we know 100% that the more body fat you have, the more inflammation in the body, right? And so we know all those things. And so even though it's a catch statement like sitting is the new smoking, it's not meant literally, right? And it's not a scare tactic either. It's a direct correlation between what we're seeing with people sitting down and doing more computer work and doing more sedentary work and the increase in these diseases, right? Almost everyone I know is knows someone that's either they're pre-diabetic or diabetic, or they're heading that direction. right?
Oh, wow.
Like, if you take a look at your parents, their friends, everyone's like pre-diabetic or diabetic.
Yeah, I
Like, it's crazy, and so I'm not sure how it was like 400 years ago. I don't think it was this bad. And so there is a correlation and between what our lifestyles are right now, and I'm sure we can go into more detail about it, but
yeah, I think that's very important for today's context, especially since we are all running this rat race. We are always working, always sitting. I mean, when I read this, I was like, oh God, that's like speaking to me personally. So yeah. You emphasize the damage from sedentary lifestyle is quiet and accumulates over time. So what are some early signs people should definitely look out for?
I definitely think fatigue, right? Mood swings, libido, right? Not being able to sleep, another one. These are all effects on your hormones. Like, there are always signals, right? People start getting joint pains, they ignore it. People start getting headaches, they kind of ignore it, take a Panadol. They have all these things to mask it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're tired, you drink a coffee, mask it again. You're sleepy, take sleeping pill, mask it again. And so there's all these like these band-aids you can put on these ailments that over time you don't realize that these are actually underlying issues. Usually it's like this massive event that drives you to go to a doctor and say, check my blood work. They're like, oh, you're diabetic.
Yeah.
And usually you could spot this years and years and years and years down the line. So there is a difference between reactive medicine and proactive medicine, which is again from that book Outlive by Peter Attia. He talks about how the medical system needs to change a little bit to get people doing their blood work more, being in tune with those things more. Because if you go and get your blood work and you check your HbA1c, which is a 3-month reading of your blood sugar, right, and you do that every 3 months, if during one test you go and you look at it and the number is a little higher, right? You have all of this data. It's telling you, hey, these are your normal numbers. This is not normal anymore, right? And so you have these baseline numbers that you can track over the period of your life. And so before things actually start getting out of control, you can kind of fix them. And it's all through diet, sleep, training, lifestyle, stress management. These are things that actually fix those, And so, like you said, the rat race is what distracts people from, there's a quote, everyone, you want everything until you're sick, then you only want one thing, and so to me, like, that's kind of like what I live by and why I've chosen this career, because I'm trying to bring awareness to the fact that you can have everything, but the moment you're sick, you only want one. There's only one thing.
Precisely. That's so true. And I feel like we give so many excuses to not be fit.
Yeah, exactly. And you give anything to go back and not be sick. And like, one of the things with training is, there's a guy, his name's Tanner Shuck, really famous fitness influencer coach. I've been coached by him. He talks about, he just says you don't have to train, you get to train. There are people out there that can't. They don't have legs, they don't have their health. You have your health, and so you get to, you don't have to. And so it's important to have these little frameworks in your head to like put things in perspective.
Agreed. Absolutely. So in your experience, why is regular movement more critical than having an intense workout a few times a week?
It's not more beneficial. They are one and the same. Both are required, right? Because there is huge benefits to building muscle tissue, losing body fat, and keeping your body in that state. For one reason is, the more muscle you have, the more carbohydrates you can consume, right? Your body stores glucose, carbohydrates in your liver, and then in your muscles. And so you want to think about your muscles like a storage unit, right? The moment you run out of storage, so like, yes, I get the first part across. The moment you run out of storage, it leaks out and it stays in the blood. There's nowhere for it to be stored. Right? And so you really want to think about muscle being very crucial to regulating insulin and regulating blood sugar. And I'm not a doctor. I just know these things because I've worked with doctors and they tell me these things. And we get our clients to work with doctors, and then we work with the doctor to help the clients. And so Now the more muscle you have, the more storage units you have, the more carbohydrates and the more insulin sensitive you are. You can process foods better. You can deliver nutrients to cells better. You can do all of these things much better, right? And daily movement, like there's so many benefits to walking. You'd see this a lot. Like people are stressed out, you go for a walk and you're okay. Right?
Yeah.
Those are some of the benefits. There are stress management benefits. There are physiological benefits. There's a lot of good that comes out of walking. I'll give you an example. We ran a nutrition course, a 30-day nutrition program, right? And we had like 25 people on the program. And there was this lady who had just had a baby and she didn't have a gym. She couldn't leave the house and she was on this nutrition program. One of the things we tell them to do is, hey, find a gym, we even provided the training program. And we also told them they can come to the gym and train. So we gave them all these options. But this lady had none of those options. She couldn't leave her baby.
Right. Yeah.
Husband went to work, she was at home. And she had the best results. She lost 7 kilos in these 30 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all she did was change her food, obviously, change the composition of her plate. Because if you change the composition of your plate, it's going to change the composition of your body.
Right.
It's as simple as this, right? If you change the composition of your plate, you change the composition of your body. That's one lever. You pull that lever, you're gonna change the composition. The other lever is build more muscle. So go into the gym and train. Like you don't have to be huge. You just want to build a little bit of muscle, right? So you have more storage units. You're more insulin sensitive. Lever 2. She couldn't put lever 2. Lever 3 is more daily movement. Walk a little more, right? And so some people have very active lifestyles. Some people talk with their hands a lot. That's movement. And it's very hard to measure that kind of movement. One easy way to measure movement is walk, right? People have step trackers on their watches, like 8,000 steps, 12,000 steps. You see those numbers pop up a lot. I would say about 12,000 is ideal for everyone. But all we did was tell this lady, 60 minutes a day, can you go walk? She said, yes, my husband comes home at 6 p.m. I'm going to go for a walk. She went for a walk. And that's all she did. And she had the best results from everyone. And everyone else was training, but they weren't committing to the walking as much. They committed to the food, they committed to the training. And they're like, the walking thing is kind of, if I can, I'll do it. But this lady, it wasn't optional. It was the only thing she could do.
Right.
And she did the diet and then she had the biggest results. That was a learning for us as a gym. We're like, wow, we don't have to make these complex programs to get people to lose weight. Fix their diet, move a little more. If you have time, come and hit the gym. And those are like those 3 levers that you can pull to kind of accelerate fat loss.
Yeah. And you mentioned that movement, once again, creates motivation and not the other way around. So can you give a real world example where you've seen this principle change somebody's life?
Every single day. People say, I don't have time. You have 5 minutes? Yeah, I have 5 minutes. We go for a walk. Like unless they can do it 100%, they don't want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so if you can go out and do 5 minutes today, 5 minutes tomorrow, 5 minutes the day after, you've done 35 minutes of work in the week. That over 180 is 350 minutes. And everyone has more than 5 minutes. So usually what I say is, listen, you don't need motivation, you need like momentum. You need to get the ball rolling, right? Most people show up to the gym, everything's okay. Just getting to the gym is hard. So get out of the house, get in the car and drive, right? And so it's mostly momentum that people need. And so another thing is, I'll give you another example. Like people want to, a lot of times we get people to send us food pictures. And so we say, okay, send food picture. And they'll send us food pictures. There's like a cake. I'm like, where is that cake? Right? And they're like, oh, it was at home. I was like, okay, fine. Why was it at home? Oh, we have cake in the fridge. Like, wouldn't it be easier if you just got rid of all the cake that's in the fridge and have your snacks as fruit, cheese even, dates, something, something healthy, strawberries, whatever it is that you like that's not processed. And usually they'll be like, yeah. I'm like, so get rid of the stuff that's in the fridge. If it's in your house, it's easy. So the first momentum you need to create is get rid of everything, right? And but I like the walking example better because most people are like, I can't go for a walk. You have 5 minutes. What are you doing? You're scrolling on Instagram, you're on Netflix. You can do that. Just walk while you're doing that, right? So that's why I think most people, no one needs motivation. They need momentum, right? And you just need to find little ways to create momentum. Like people would think it's ridiculous. I'll be like, go and walk 5 minutes tomorrow. Like 5 minutes, is that enough? I'm like, no, it's not enough, but it's better than nothing, And so let's get started. Let's like get the ball rolling. And that usually gets people the trigger in their head. Okay, I need to just,
I think that's something I love because when it comes to fitness and well-being, there's such a big misconception where it's like either you go into the gym and you lift weights or you do nothing at all.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no in between, right? So I love when you said that.
There is a big middle ground. People look at the extreme examples.
Exactly.
Severely overweight and sick people, and severely, extremely fit and high performing, A-type personalities. But majority of people are in the middle. I'm in the middle. People think I'm that A-type severe. I'm not. I just find time during the day because I have other things. For example, I'm here, right? I had to train earlier today to like squeeze everything in and come here. And so people have lives, and you just need to find momentum to plug those things into your life. But yeah.
Agreed, yeah. And you introduced the idea of setting 3 to 4 non-negotiable habits during onboarding at CrossFit Salon.
Yeah.
So can you share some examples of these habits and why it's so effective?
So when people come into the gym, we ask them, okay, you've made this big decision to come here. You've paid your money. What do you want? Why are you here? Right? And regardless of why, let's use an example. Okay, I'll lose some weight. Cool, you want to lose weight. Where are you at right now? Have you started the process? You've done X, Y, and Z, or you haven't done anything. So now generally, if they're going to take someone from point A to point B, there are certain things that they need to do to get there.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you need to start training. Cool, let's make that. Can you show up 2 to 3 times a week to the gym? They're like, yes. Okay, cool. Non-negotiable number 1. Can you walk 30 minutes a day? Yes. Okay, what time are you going to walk? First thing in the morning. Cool. Non-negotiable number 2. Can you eat more protein? Can you eat 2 palm sizes of protein during the day for each meal? Like, that might be tough. Okay, that's something we're going to work on. That's non-negotiable number 3. Right. So you have 3 of those now. And a 4th one would be, how stressed are you? Right? Because stress has a detrimental effect to weight gain. I mean, it's a good catalyst for weight gain. Right, and it's detrimental to muscle gain. And so could you do like a 10-minute meditation? Could you just down regulate, close your eyes, do some breathing, and just chill for a second? Okay, non-negotiable number 4. Now you put those 4 things together and you get them doing those, and you monitor those non-negotiables. You don't have to talk about anything else, because if they can't do these 4 things, there's no point trying to take advanced intervention, right? Yeah. Like, okay, let's get these 4 things done. We'll talk about carbohydrates and all this stuff later, right? But let's get these 4 things done, and let's see if you can even handle a next non-negotiable. So let's say they get the protein thing in. Cool. Okay, now let's monitor your carbohydrates through the day. Let's bring that in, because this habit is established. And so that's why the non-negotiables are very the framing of it as well, non-negotiable. You have to do this.
It's mandatory.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not mandatory, but you came here, you wanted this, and these are the things that you need to do. And so if you really want what you say you want, these are the things. Here's a roadmap. Go ahead and do it. I'll monitor, I'll help, I'll hold you accountable. And if there's any troubleshooting, I'll help you move through those troubleshoots.
Okay. And why do you think, once again, walking is such a powerful yet underutilized tool for improving overall health?
Because people want sexy. People want the new best thing, the new technology, and walking is boring and it's unsexy, right? And so people just don't want to do it. They just overlook it. And there are many ways you can do it. Like, you can say, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to do 30 minutes, I'm going to come home and do 30 minutes. And say, I'm busy. Okay, can you get up off your desk for 5 minutes every hour? Like, yeah. Can you go for a walk around office? Yeah. Okay, cool. How long are you at office for? They're like, 8 hours. Okay, you've got 40 minutes there. You're gonna walk to your car, you're gonna walk up the building, there's a lot of other times where you'll get those other 30-40 minutes, right? And so there is what I described is the Pomodoro technique, right? 5 minutes every hour, get up, go for a walk, come back. It's good for your focus as well, right? And so if you get up every 5 minutes, go for a walk, come back, a little refresh, you had some time to think, declutter and get back into work. And so there's multiple benefits to it, because everything, like, one of the things I tell people is the way you speak, the way you think, the way you react, the way you respond to all these situations is a direct representation of how you're functioning.
Yeah.
You know, you've had days where you've not got any sleep and you go to work and you're just staring at the laptop. You're like, I'm not functioning, right? This is a reflection of your sleep, your diet, your training, your recovery, your management of stress, you know, your overall lifestyle. Because you've done these things to your body and now it's suboptimal. You're functioning suboptimally. And in order to optimize and be the best at what you do, be the best lawyer, be the best father, be the best whatever, you need to be optimal and you need to be functioning on a high capacity, right? And so usually for me, if I feel sharp and I feel responsive and I feel like I can problem solve and do all these things, I know I'm doing the right things.
Yeah.
You know, I know I'm sleeping well, I'm training, I'm recovering, I'm managing my stress. And so usually one of the questions I'll ask people is like, how do you feel going through the day? They're like, well, my energy is good. I'm like, perfect. Okay, let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Right.
If they say my energy is terrible, then we start investigating. Okay, let's go through your day. What's going on? Where do you need to improve? Are there things you need to take out? Are there things you need to add in? Most of the time, it's not adding things, it's taking things out.
I think that's amazing because usually when we go for a lot of gyms and, you know, going to fitness, they just cramp everything to you and they're like, you know, you do this, you'll be there at the gym 5 days a week and, you know, weights and all that. So that's amazing.
I find 2-3 days a week is more than enough. Like, especially once you get to a point where you're, you know, putting enough stress on the body, it takes a long time to recover. Like most people are limping after like doing squats, you know, so you need some time to recover. There's ways to program around that, but your body does. You don't need like 5 days. You need like 6-7 days of walking and movement. You need to do that every day. But lifting and putting all that stress on your body, you don't need every day. You know, 2-3 times a week. If you're new, once a week might be enough. Twice a week, and then as you become more advanced, you can go 3, maybe 4. You know, but even beyond that, that's too much.
That's so nice to hear, actually.
It's real simple, to be honest with you.
What advice would you give to someone who struggles to beat the 8,000 steps per day challenge?
Do 1,000. Add 200 every week for the rest of your life. It's really, titration is very important, right? So titration is simply, you know, remember when we're in chemistry class when we were kids, you know, they'd give you one solution, another solution, and say drop this solution and just watch what happens. Nothing happened. Okay, drop another one, watch what happens. You drop 4 or 5, you're like, something's happening, right? And so like training and implementing habits and implementing all these things require titration, right? You cannot take away from someone's life and give them all of these things and say, do all of this. You say, okay, do this one thing, execute it. Once you have the ability to do it, let's move to the next thing, right? So like it's very important to systematically keep progressing, right? And so people can't do 8,000. Yeah, cool, I understand. Like a lot of days I don't get 8,000. A lot of days I don't even get 2,000. I'm sitting in front of my laptop, right? But start at 1,000. It's the same thing as 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, you'll probably get 300-400 steps. You know, then you'll realize, oh my God, I barely walk. Most people, you get them tracking, you know, you tell them to get a cheap tracker and they're like, oh, I'm gonna get like 4,000 steps. Like, yeah, you don't move at all. Now you know why it's so hard. And they'll be like, okay, cool, now I need to walk more. So then they, by themselves, they'll say, okay, I'm gonna do 4,500 tomorrow.
Right.
Cool. And then 5,000. And you don't have to do it on a daily, the progress doesn't have to be daily, it could be weekly, right? 4,000 this week, 4,500 next week, 5,000 week after. By week 8, 10, what are you at? 8,000? You're good to go and try and maintain that for a little while and then start progressing. Titration, slow incremental gains.
All right. So thank you so much, Andy, for being here, and thank you so much for sharing such practical, doable, and possible things when it comes to fitness and obviously our well-being. So thank you so much, and hope to see you again.